Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. New goods and services tax rates come into effect from today, marking a historical shift in the country's indirect taxation. Prime Minister Modi says GST savings festival begins on the first day of Navratri. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit northeastern states of Arunachal Pradesh and Tripura, slew of developmental projects to be launched. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar expected to meet US Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the UNGA sidelines in New York. Meeting comes a day when India-US trade talks take place in the US. Gaza, Palestinian state recognition set to dominate UN General Assembly summit. Starting today, 4 major nations support two-state solution, prompting a furious response from Israel. And in Asia Cup, India's dominance over Pakistan continues. Beat the rivals by 6 wickets. Abhishek Sharma named man of the match. Next generation GST reforms or the simplified tax structure comes into effect across India from today, bringing uniformity across food items with reduced number of tax slabs. The shift to a new slab system of 5% and 18% removes the earlier 12% and 28% slabs. Ahead of which, on Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his address to the nation remarked that now it is the turn of the poor and the new middle class to benefit from the next generation GST reforms. The Prime Minister said that the reforms would usher in a countrywide GST savings festival and it will usher in a new spurt of economic growth.
Country is all set to adopt a simplified two-tier tax system from September 22. Under next generation GST reform, a majority of goods and services will be taxed at 5% and 18%. In his address to the nation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi underscored that with lower GST rates, fulfilling personal dreams will become easier for citizens.
कल से देश में जीएसटी बचत उत्सव शुरू होने जा रहा है। इस जीएसटी बचत उत्सव में आपकी बचत बढ़ेगी और आप अपनी पसंद की चीजों को और ज्यादा आसानी से खरीद पाएंगे। हमारे देश के गरीब, मध्यम वर्गीय लोग, न्यू मिडिल क्लास, युवा, किसान, महिलाएं, दुकानदार, व्यापारी, उद्यमी सभी को ये बचत उत्सव का बहुत फायदा होगा।
Prime Minister expressed high expectations from MSMEs and underscored their historic role as the backbone of India's economy.
विकसित भारत के लक्ष्य तक पहुंचने के लिए हमें आत्मनिर्भरता के रास्ते पर चलना ही होगा और भारत को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने का बहुत बड़ा दायित्व हमारे एमएसएमईज यानी हमारे लघु, मध्यम और कुटीर उद्योगों पर भी है, जो देश के लोगों की जरूरत का है, जो हम देश में ही बना सकते हैं, वो हमें देश में ही बनाना चाहिए।
Prime Minister called for every household to become a symbol of Swadeshi and every shop to be adorned with indigenous goods. PM encouraged citizens to proudly declare their commitment to Swadeshi, I buy Swadeshi, I sell Swadeshi, and stated that this mindset must become intrinsic to every citizen. He appealed to all state governments to actively support the Aatmanirbhar Bharat and Swadeshi campaigns by boosting manufacturing in their regions with full energy and enthusiasm. Prime Minister noted that this year the government has gifted tax relief by making income up to 12 lakh rupees tax-free, bringing a substantial ease and convenience to middle-class lives. Highlighting the importance of simplified tax system, Prime Minister called the GST reform adopted in 2017 as beginning of a new chapter in the country's economic history.
जब साल 2017 में भारत ने जीएसटी रिफॉर्म की तरफ कदम बढ़ाया था, तो एक पुराना इतिहास बदलने की और एक नया इतिहास रचने की शुरुआत हुई थी। दशकों तक हमारे देश की जनता, आप सभी लोग, देश के व्यापारी अलग अलग टैक्स के जाल में उलझे हुए थे। ऑक्ट्रॉय, एंट्री टैक्स, सेल टैक्स, एक्साइज, वेट, सर्विस टैक्स, न जाने भांति भांति के दर्जनों टैक्स हमारे देश में थे। एक शहर से दूसरे शहर माल भेजना हो तो न जाने कितने चेकपोस्ट पार करने होते थे।
Prime Minister also shared a personal memory from 2014 when he assumed office as Prime Minister, mentioning a striking example published in a foreign newspaper. The article described the challenges faced by a company that found it so difficult to send goods from Bengaluru to Hyderabad, a distance of just 570 kilometers, that it preferred to ship the goods from Bengaluru to Europe and then back to Hyderabad. On September 3, the GST Council in its 56th meeting had decided to reduce GST structure from 4 slabs, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28% to 2 main rates, 5% and 18%, along with a 40% special rate for sin or luxury goods. Bureau Report, DD India.
All right, our correspondent Dibendu joins us to get us more. Dibendu, we've shown a detailed report of the new and reformed GST structure. Help us understand to what extent will it benefit the common man, because the very idea of bringing in these reforms was to benefit the new middle class and the poor sections of the society. And what better day to start this, being the first day of Navratri as put forth by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Well, Preeti, good morning. Of course, the festive season begins in India. This is the first day of Navratri. Almost all parts of India will celebrate. In fact, moves into the festive fervor from today itself. And therefore, the GST reduction comes right at a time when the people, when the consumption across India increases. So therefore, this is a much needed relief that has been given to the poor, to the middle class, and to each and every citizen of India, especially on items which are of daily needs. For example, bread, milk, paneer, etc. would be out of the GST slab now. There will be no GST on this. Apart from that, yesterday Prime Minister spoke about the new middle class, which is a growing section and a growing number of population and a section of society over the last 1 decade. People have, a large section of people have moved out of poverty and have come into the middle class segment. So therefore, the aspiration of the middle class has grown over the last 1 decade. Therefore, the reduction of GST on cars, on air conditioners, on washing machines, on refrigerators will give the much needed boost to consumption in these particular sectors. So we'll see, how the markets react also when the markets open at about 9:30 this morning. And apart from that, we are expecting to see a lot of, rush in the markets as well, as I said, because this is the festive season. A lot of people were waiting patiently to go to, for this day, which is 22nd, for the markets to open as well. They will be going for the shopping, which they were holding back because, significant reduction from many goods from 18% and 12% have come down to 5%, and many from 28% have come down to 18%. So therefore, it's much simplified now. There are just 2 slabs, apart from some of the sin goods, which are mostly in, very few of them are in the 40% bracket. But apart from that, everything has come down to 5 and 18%, but mostly all of which have come down to 5%, which is your daily essential items. Therefore, there could be some festive rush in the markets today because people were waiting for this day to come as they were holding back all of the shopping lists because why not wait for the reduction, because it is a significant jump. So therefore, Preeti, yes, people are excited. People are excited to go to the market once it opens this morning. And we could see a festive rush in all the markets across, not just in Delhi, but it is expected across India.
So it's a doubly good beginning of the week for the consumers. Thank you so much, Devendra, for joining in with those updates. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Arunachal Pradesh and Tripura today. In Itanagar, Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone of two major hydropower projects worth over 3,700 crore rupees. The projects are aimed at harnessing the vast hydroelectric potential and promoting sustainable energy generation in the region. Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of a state-of-the-art convention centre at Tawang. Located at over 9,820 feet in the frontier district of Tawang, the centre will serve as a landmark facility to host national and international conferences, cultural festivals and exhibitions. With a capacity to host over 1,500 delegates, the centre will meet global standards and support the tourism and cultural potential of the region. In line with his vision of ensuring ease of doing business and fostering a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem, Prime Minister will also interact with local taxpayers, traders and industry representatives to discuss the impact of the recent GST rate rationalization. In Tripura, Prime Minister will inaugurate the developmental work of Mata Tripura Sundari Temple Complex at Matabari. It is one of the ancient 51 Shakti Peeths located in the Udaipur town of Gomati district. The complex will boost tourism, create employment and business opportunities and also lead to overall socio-economic development of the region. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who was on a two-day visit to Morocco, interacted with the Indian community in Rabat. The minister lauded the hard work and dedication that defines the Indian community across the world. He highlighted the transformational journey of India in the last decade in multiple dimensions and how Indian diaspora echoed the growing sense of pride derived from the rising global stature of India.
भारतवासी हैं और हम रोजी रोटी कमा रहे हैं मोरक्को में, अपने परिवार की परवरिश हम मोरक्को में रहकर कर रहे हैं। तो भारत के प्रति हमारी निष्ठा, भारत के प्रति हमारा लगाव, भारत के प्रति हमारा प्रेम, यह स्वाभाविक है, होना भी चाहिए। लेकिन हमें नहीं भूलना चाहिए कि हर के बावजूद हम भारतवासी हैं, चाहे हम दुनिया में जहां भी हैं। भारतवासी हैं तो हमारा अन्य लोगों से कोई डिफरेंट कैरेक्टर नहीं है, हमारा अलग चरित्र है। इस मोरक्को के साथ भी कोई दगाबाजी, धोखा नहीं होना चाहिए, यही भारत का कैरेक्टर है, क्योंकि भारत की पहचान सारी दुनिया में कुछ अलग प्रकार की है।
Marking the first ever visit by an Indian Defence Minister to the country, Rajnath Singh was received at Mohammed V International Airport by the head Wali of Military Command of Casablanca and Indian Ambassador to Morocco, Sanjay Rana. A key highlight of the visit will be the inauguration of Tata Advanced Systems Maroc's new manufacturing facility for the wheeled armoured platform 8x8 at Barricade. This facility is the first ever Indian defence manufacturing plant in Africa, which marks an important milestone that reflects the growing global footprint of India's defence industry under the Aatmanirbhar Bharat initiative. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, we get you a quick roundup of External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar's engagements in the US on the sidelines of the 80th anniversary of the United Nations General Assembly. US President Donald Trump joined billionaire Elon Musk at the memorial event for right-wing leader Charlie Kirk. World Rhino Day being observed to spread awareness and inspire people to value wildlife protection. Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is in New York to attend the 80th anniversary of the United Nations General Assembly. Today, he is expected to meet U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. According to the U.S. advisory, the meet is expected at 11 a.m. EST today. The meeting would be the first since Trump's 50% tariff imposition on India. Interestingly, the meeting comes on the day when India-US trade talks take place in the US. A high-level delegation led by Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal will visit the United States to hold discussions on India-US trade deal today. The delegation aims to advance ongoing trade negotiations and work towards the early conclusion of a mutually beneficial trade agreement between the two countries. The discussions expected to be focused on strengthening bilateral trade, investment and economic cooperation across all sectors. During the last visit of the team of officials from the Office of United States Trade Representative to India on 16th of September, positive discussions were held on various aspects of the trade deal, and it was decided to intensify efforts in this regard. Our correspondent Akshay Dongre is joining us to get us more. Akshay, good morning. We've told our viewers that India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is expected to meet Marco Rubio. Get us more. What could be taken up? This comes at the time when the India-US trade talks and the negotiations are simultaneously taking place in the US.
Well, absolutely, Preeti. In fact, also at a very crucial time when the US government has levied a heavy fee on the H-1B visa as well. That has become another friction point here. From the Russian oil to H-1B visa, from trade to other kind of tariffs that are making rounds as far as the relation between the two countries are concerned, there is a lot to be discussed. And perhaps this is a meeting coming at a right time. Both the meeting of India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar as well as the Commerce Minister Mr. Piyush Goyal in the US. As far as the negotiations are concerned, it seems that in the recent days, at least to some extent, the US has showed a willingness to also make some amends as far as the attitude is concerned, and as far as the kind of negotiations that earlier it was trying to get into. But now it seems that more and more both the sides are more and more realizing that they have to take a few steps forward in each other's direction as far as finding a conclusive deal is concerned. But it remains far from over, especially with the new kind of executive orders being signed by the President of the United States, be it the H-1B visa, be it other kind of issues that are especially impacting the Indian community that is living in the US. So that is also going to be on the agenda, but it seems that besides the core of the agenda, the highlight will obviously be the Ukraine conflict and US's objections to India buying the Russian oil, as well as other kind of Indian objections to the trade practices between the two countries. So it seems that it is a good start, but unless both the sides are making to take a few very serious steps as far as the negotiations are concerned, as of now, the relation between the two countries still remain complicated, especially given the recent decisions by the White House in a few months.
All right, yes, you're talking of the decisions by the White House in the last few months and also the friction point of H-1B visas. But this comes just after President Trump talked of how Prime Minister Modi is a close friend and how he looks forward to strengthening India-US relationship, which was reciprocated by the Indian leadership as well. Put all this together, the trade talks are also taking place in the US. A delegation led by Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal is in the US to negotiate the trade deal between the two countries. What could be expected?
Well, empty words don't mean anything, Preeti. It seems, that is also has been understood by the Indian government that empty words do not mean anything if you are, trying to outcast a community, especially the Indian diaspora that is in the US, by implementing such a heavy fee on the H-1B visa. One of the most beneficial visa programs, not just for the Indian community, but for the tech industry there in the US, that help the tech industry grow. with the Indian talent that has been going. So yes, Trump has been calling Prime Minister Modi a good friend, a great leader, and that all is being reciprocated. But at the same level, if the decisions at the trade level are difficult, then India will be reciprocating to that as well. Because, but just US side, praising, heaping praises on us and on our leadership, whereas acting against our interest will also be reciprocated in the same manner. Preeti. Back to you.
All right, Akshay, thank you for joining in with those updates. And still with the External Affairs Minister's visit, at the start of the UNGA 80 in New York, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met Secretary of Foreign Affairs of the Philippines, Teresa P. Lazaro. The two leaders followed up on recent state visit of President Marcos Bongbong to India. They also discussed the cooperation in the UN and the Indo-Pacific region. The United Kingdom is set to push for a peace plan for the Middle East at the 80th session of the UN General Assembly at New York after recognizing the state of Palestine. Britain, Canada and Australia announced formal recognition of the state of Palestine on Sunday in an attempt to pile pressure on Israel. The decision by 4 nations from the West aligned them with more than 140 other countries also backing Palestinians' aspirations to forge an independent homeland from the occupied territories. Other nations, including France, are expected to follow suit this week at the UN General Assembly in New York. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned the move. Hamas welcomed the move but said it must be accompanied by practical measures to end the conflict in Gaza and prevent Israel from annexing the West Bank. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said that recognition would help pave the way for the state of Palestine to live side by side with the state of Israel in security, peace and good neighborliness. Londoners voiced mixed reactions on Sunday. Meanwhile, US President Trump has previously made clear that he opposes such a move. In the United States, the memorial was organized for Charlie Kirk. After 11 days, he was assassinated. It drew tens of thousands of mourners at the State Farm Stadium in Arizona. Some called Charlie Kirk a modern martyr. Others said his death was a pivotal moment for the U.S. Kirk, 31 years of age, was shot in the neck on September 10th while speaking at a Utah University program as part of his popular public debate series. Authorities arrested a suspect after a 33-hour manhunt. The memorial service for the slain conservative activist left little doubt that Kirk's death had elevated him to iconic status for the American right. The service drew an extraordinary level of attention and some US media likening it to a state funeral. The event drew some of the most powerful voices in the country, led by President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, Kirk's widow, Erica, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Among other speakers were media personality Tucker Carlson, Trump's Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, and Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. U.S. President called Charlie Kirk, who was violently killed because he spoke for freedom and justice.
We know the weight of this monumental loss is almost unbearable. But even in the midst of heartache and pain too great to even fathom, you have somehow found the strength and deep faith to be a comfort to millions and millions of people. And thank you very much, Erica. Thank you very much. Today, an entire nation wraps its loving arms around you and your beautiful children. We share in your immense and overwhelming sorrow, and we vow that we will do everything we can to ensure that your children grow up in a land where their father is honored and revered as a great American hero. That's what he is.
In an emotional moment, his widow, Erica Kirk, broke down in tears as she told the crowd that she forgave the alleged shooter.
That young man, on the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, I forgive him.
Months after the messy split, US President Donald Trump sat side by side with billionaire Elon Musk, a once trusted advisor with whom the US President had a spectacular public falling out at a memorial event for right-wing leader Charlie Kirk on Sunday. Musk donated more than $270 million to Trump's presidential campaign, brainstorming key battleground states for the Republican. After the election, he oversaw the launch of DOGE, a controversial initiative that eliminated thousands of government jobs deemed by the agency to be part of a pattern of waste, fraud and abuse. But Musk broke with Trump over the White House's flagship tax and spending bill, which Musk called utterly insane and destructive. After the falling out, Musk went as far as to announce that he was launching his own America First party, but little has materialized so far. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says that he has fond memories of US President Trump and is open to future talks with the United States if he can keep his nukes. Kim met Trump 3 times for the high-profile summits during Trump's first term before talks collapsed in Hanoi in 2019 over what concessions Pyongyang was prepared to make on its nuclear arsenal. The US demand that Kim give up his banned weapons has long been a sticking point between the two countries, with Pyongyang under successive rafts of UN sanctions over its nuclear and missile programs. Since the failed 29th summit, North Korea has repeatedly said that it will never give up its nuclear weapons and declared itself an irreversible nuclear state. Kim reiterated that denuclearization was not an option. Tens of thousands of Brazilians took to the streets of major cities to protest against legislative efforts to shield former President Jair Bolsonaro and federal lawmakers from the courts, marking the country's strongest leftist demonstrations in years. It was the first major demonstration since Bolsonaro's conviction this month, with numbers rivaling recent right-wing protests against his sentencing in major cities, driving home the stark divisions in one of the world's largest democracies. The Supreme Court's conviction of Bolsonaro and his co-conspirators in the government and armed forces marked the first time Brazil has punished military officers for attempting to overthrow democracy in a history stained by violent coups. Bolsonaro is under house arrest until he exhausts appeals of his 27-year prison sentence, but allies are already working to support him via political channels, ranging from legislative amnesty to a pardon from the next president. Syria will hold its first parliamentary election under its new Islamist-led administration on October 5th. The new assembly is expected to lay the groundwork for a broader democratic process following the ousting of former President Bashar al-Assad last December after nearly 14 years of conflict. It will also be tasked with approving legislation aimed at overhauling decades of the state-controlled economic policies and ratifying treaties that could reshape Syria's foreign policy alliance. Voting for the 210-member People's Assembly will take place all across the electoral districts. The Electoral Commission said last month voting would be delayed in 3 provinces due to security concerns. A third of the People's Assembly seats will be appointed by President Ahmed al-Shara. You're watching DD India News. We're waiting for a short break, but after the break, fans and well-wishers bid the last goodbye to Zubeen Garg, the musical maestro and cultural icon of Assam. Stay with us for a special report on what caught the attention of cine lovers at the 30th Busan International Film Festival. The 9-day Navratri festival begins with great fervour as devotees throng temples across the country to mark the first Navratri.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. A quick recap of the top stories now. New goods and services tax rates come into effect from today, marking a historical shift in the country's indirect taxation. Prime Minister Modi says GST Savings Festival begins on the first day of Navratri. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit northeastern states of Arunachal Pradesh and Tripura. Slew of developmental projects to be launched. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar expected to meet US Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the UNGA sidelines in New York. Meeting comes on a day when India-US trade talks take place in the US. Gaza, Palestinian state recognition set to dominate UN General Assembly summit starting today. 4 major nations support two-state solution, prompting a furious response from Israel. And in Asia Cup, India's dominance over Pakistan continues. Beat the rivals by 6 wickets. Abhishek Sharma named man of the match. As we told you, next generation GST reforms or the simplified tax structure comes into effect across India from today, bringing uniformity across food items with reduced number of tax slabs. The shift to a 2-slab system of 5% and 18% removes the earlier 12% and 28% slabs. In a social media post on X, Prime Minister Narendra Modi wrote, and I quote him, "This time, this auspicious occasion of Navratri is very special. Along with the GST Savings Festival, the mantra of Swadeshi is going to receive a new energy during this period. Let us come together in collective efforts for the fulfillment of the resolve for a developed and self-reliant India." In line with Government of India's aim to end Naxalism by March 2026, a new forward operating base has been successfully established at Gundaraj Gudem in Bijapur district of Bastar region of Chhattisgarh. The secure forward military position has been established by the 2nd Battalion, 150th Battalion and 203 Cobra CRPF in coordination with Chhattisgarh Police, overcoming adverse weather conditions. The camp is fortified with robust multi-layered security and equipped with essential amenities. With its establishment, security forces will now achieve deeper operational reach into the Naxal strongholds. Bastar has seen one of the most violent operations, encounters and ambushes between the security forces and the Naxals for over 20 years now. It remains the epicenter of the Naxal combat. Thousands of fans and well-wishers showed up to pay last respects to Zubeen Garg, the musical maestro and cultural icon of Assam. The cremation of the legendary singer Zubeen Garg will be held on 23rd of September at a designated site in Sonapur, Guwahati. The decision was taken by Assam government in consultation with his family members. Earlier on Sunday, fans gathered in large number and paid their tributes to the departed soul. Zubeen passed away in Singapore on Friday in what was first reported as a scuba diving accident. Reports later stated that he died while swimming in the sea without a life jacket. The singer was rushed to the hospital but was later declared dead. A post-mortem was conducted in Singapore before his body was handed over to India. All right, our correspondent Subina Roy is joining us. Subina, we tell our viewers that the state funeral, in fact, the funeral of Zubeen Garg will be held tomorrow, 23rd of September, and the state of Assam, the fans there paid heartfelt last adieu to Zubeen Garg. What more can you add to it?
Yes, Preeti, with a heavy heart, the Assam people is bidding the final adieu to their cultural icon who was no less than a storm for Assam and the Northeast. He was the voice of Northeast, Zubeen Garg, and people were seen crying, fans, they were waking up late night since Friday night, and people have been thronging the Sarju Sadai Stadium where he is being kept right now for so that people all across Assam and all across India, whoever are his fans, can pay their last visit. Tomorrow, it has been decided that he will be cremated at a funeral site has been decided at Sonapur in Guwahati. And after that, his ashes will be taken to Jorhat, where a memorial site will also be built in Jorhat, because that was his hometown, Preeti. And his death rally has been declared as the fourth largest in the world. And it has been registered in the Limca Book of World Records, because Zubeen was more of a humanitarian. We know just Zubeen not just as a singer or a filmmaker or a music director, but he was a man of heart. He lived for the people of Assam. He was associated with an NGO called Kalaguru Artist Foundation, which helped artists, especially dwarf artists, and he created a theatre group through which he supported them. Apart from that, he was also associated with differently abled people, and he helped the needy when they were in need. Different people who in need of medical help or any kind of treatment, he would be upfront in helping them out. And he was also a voice to the indigenous people of Assam. He always spoke for the rights of the Assam people. And he was not just an Assamese, but he had command over 40 dialects. He had sung songs in more than 40 dialects of the Northeast. So that's a huge number. And since his father was a government servant, he had been living all across Assam. So as much as Borak Valley is of him, Golaghat belongs to Zubeen or Jorhat or Upper Assam, Preeti. So the entire Assam is in shock right now in his untimely demise.
All right, Subina, we leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those inputs. And let's turn focus to the 30th Busan International Film Festival, which is being held at the Busan Cinema Center in South Korea. The main focus of the 10-day festival is to introduce new films and first-time directors, especially those from the Asian countries. As part of India's participation at the film festival, a special roundtable will be held with the Busan Film Commission at Bexco today. The session will bring together senior representatives from both the sides to explore opportunities for collaboration in the film and creative economy sectors. India is participating this year with its first, in fact, strongest ever contingent led by Minister of State Dr. L. Murugan, along with senior officials of the ministry and key creators from the Waves Bazaar initiative. All right, DD India's Jaya Sinha joins us live from Busan. Jaya, good morning. Tell us, how's it going on at Asia's biggest film festival? I'm sure you must be watching different films from different genres every day and also watching the stars. Tell us, what is it like there?
Yes, absolutely. The atmosphere here in Busan is electric. Asia's biggest film festival truly feels like a celebration of cinema. From morning screenings to red carpets in the evening, there's a mix of glamour, serious storytelling and cultural exchange. You see audiences queuing up for world cinema, filmmakers, networking and an energy that reflects Busan's status as Asia's creative capital this week. And I'm covering the Asia's content film market extensively. So here we see new technologies, new contents being showcased. Right now I'm at the ACFM and you can see there's a Korean pavilion here right now, and we can see AI content pavilion. You know, there are a lot of Korean pavilions here at the Asian content film market, but this pavilion is specially dedicated to the AI content they are showcasing right now, because as we know that Korea is leading in innovations and technology trends. And what is that AI content which is trending right now in film industry, and especially Korean film industry are being showcased here?
All right, Jay, also tell us a bit about the Bharat Pavilion and also throw some light on its significance.
Yes, definitely. You asked about Bharat Pavilion. So let me take you to Bharat Pavilion, okay? So right now we are at the Asia Contents Film Market, and here is Bharat Pavilion. You can see the Little India, Chhota Laghu Bharat here at Busan, Asian Film Market. And our film Bharat Pavilion is themed India Creative Economy for the World. And it's more than just a display. It's a hub where filmmakers from across the globe are exploring partnerships with India, whether in co-production, distribution or talent exchange for India. It marks a shift from being just a film producing country to positioning itself as a global content powerhouse. It's about taking Indian cinema and the entire creative economy onto the world center stage. Stories from real India are making their presence felt here at Busan International Film Festival. Back to you, studio.
All right, Jaya, thank you for joining in with those details from Busan. And also, veteran Malayalam actor Mohanlal will be honoured with India's highest cinema honour, Dadasaheb Phalke Award for 2023 for his iconic contribution to Indian cinema. DD India spoke to him in South Korea, where he is attending the Busan Film Festival. In his first reaction after the award announcement, Mohanlal expressed deep sense of humility and gratitude.
It's a high sense of gratitude. Okay. Something I never expected, never dreamt, even in my wildest dream. So this is something an actor can, require or he can achieve in his lifetime. This is a blessing, and I'm so thankful to the jury and to the government for considering me. So with a deep sense of humility and with all my love and pride,
the 9-day Navratri festival is being celebrated across India with great fervour from Monday as devotees throng temples across the country to mark the beginning of the festival. Devotees offer prayers to Hindu goddess Durga and her 9 forms. Ma Shailputri, the first among the 9 divine forms of Ma Durga, is worshipped on the opening day of Navratri. She is revered as the goddess of prosperity and regarded as the embodiment of Mother Nature, with devotees seeking her blessings for spiritual growth and awakening. The holy town of Katra echoed with devotional chants and vibrant energy this morning as devotees thronged the base camp on the first day of the Navratri. Pilgrims carrying offerings of flowers, coconuts and red chunaris moved in long processions towards the revered Sri Mata Vaishno Devi temple. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday extended his best wishes to the nation on the auspicious occasion of Navratri. Taking to social media platform X, Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote him, "Today is the special day for the worship and rituals of Mother Shailputri in Navratri. My wish is that with the mother's affection and blessings, everyone's life may be filled with good fortune and good health." As Navratri dawns, the majestic Mysore Palace is gearing up for the world-famous Dasara Festival, Karnataka's grandest celebration. Starting today, September 22nd, the city transforms into a dazzling wonderland of over 97,000 twinkling lights, with the iconic Jambu Savari procession stealing the show on October 2nd. Mysore Dasara, with over 400 years of rich history, is a captivating celebration. Join us as we explore the timeless traditions and vibrant festivities. Dasara is one of Mysore's most vibrant festivals, celebrated with immense enthusiasm. Also known as Vijay Dashmi, it transforms the city into a dazzling spectacle with streets and landmarks adorned in radiant lights. Mysore Dasara's history stretches back over 400 years, possibly to the 14th century Vijayanagara Empire. Official records mark its start in 1610, making it a cornerstone of Karnataka's cultural heritage. Today, it draws thousands from India and abroad to witness its royal grandeur. During Dasara, Mysore sparkles with over 100,000 bulbs lighting up the palace and streets. For the best experience, visit at night to soak in the magical glow that defines this festival's charm. The Ambari procession is the highlight, with a majestic elephant carrying the 750 kilograms golden idol of goddess Chamundeshwari from the palace to Bani Mantapa. Adorned elephants trained for weeks create a breathtaking spectacle that inspires awe. The 11-day festival kicks off with a puja at Chamundi Hill on September 22nd, followed by cultural programs, art expos and food festivals. This year, Mysore Dasara dazzles with new highlights like mesmerizing drone shows and a vibrant food festival featuring Mysore Park and local delicacies. From families enjoying treasure hunts to artists showcasing at Kala Jatre, the community's spirit shines, making this Nada Habba a global celebration of Karnataka's pride. Bureau Report, DD India. On that note, we're heading for a short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. But after the break, India shines at China Para Badminton International, bags 12 medals in Beijing, including 4 golds. Italy defend their Billie Jean King Cup with a 2-0 victory over the US. And India witnesses transformation with Prime Minister Modi's vision, placing technology at the heart of governance, development and India's global standing.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Conservationists mark World Rhino Day today as a chance to celebrate achievements, acknowledge setbacks and renew commitment to the actions still needed. The day is not just about reflecting on the past, it's about looking ahead. Every rhino saved, every global trafficking ring dismantled, and every extra space available for rhinos brings us closer to a future where they can thrive in the wild. Let's turn focus to sports now. We'll talk of cricket first. India secured their 7th straight win over Pakistan across formats with a 6-wicket win at the T20 Asia Cup in Dubai. Abhishek Sharma's explosive 74 and Shubman Gill's 47 set the tone in a fiery clash marked by dropped catches and on-field tempers. Indian captain Surya Kumar Yadav opted to field. Opener Sahibzada Farhan rode his luck, dropped twice but went on to make a gritty 58. He guided Pakistan to 171 for 5 in their 20 overs. India's fielding was not at its best, dropping 4 catches. The chase, however, was pure dominance. Abhishek Sharma came out all guns blazing, hammering a breathtaking 74 off just 39 balls. Shubman Gill added 47 from 28 deliveries. The opening pair piled up 105-run stand. Tilak Verma then applied the finishing touches, sealing a 6-wicket win for India. India produced a stellar performance at the China Para Badminton International Tournament, clinching 12 medals in Beijing. Indian para shuttlers dominated across the events, taking home 4 golds, 3 silvers and 5 bronze medals in the Grade 2, Level 2 events. Tokyo Paralympic champion Pramod Bhagat made a triumphant return after serving an 18-month suspension to claim the gold medal. Bhagat defeated Indonesia's Ma Al Imran 15-21, 21-19, 21-16 in the men's singles SL3 final. He also paired with Sukant Kadam to secure a silver medal in men's doubles SL3, SL4. Meanwhile, Nithya Sri Sivan stunned reigning Paris Paralympics medalist Li Fengmin of China to bag the women's singles SH6 gold. Let's turn focus to updates from the world of tennis now. An inspired Italy successfully defended their Billie Jean King Cup with a 2-0 victory over record 18 times champions, the United States, on Sunday. They took their own tally in the Premier Women's Team competition to 6 titles. Elisabetta Cocciarato and Jasmine Paolini both won their singles matches to help their country triumph and prolong the American wait for another title after their previous success in 2017. In other updates, India today stands at the cusp of a scientific revolution, a revolution where space, science and technology are not just instruments of progress, but pillars of national pride. At the forefront of this transformation is Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whose vision has placed technology at the heart of governance, development and India's global standing. From the moon to the sun, from quantum computing to vaccines, India's strides in the past decade have reshaped the way the world looks at us.
Nothing captures the imagination of a nation like its journey into space. Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, India has emerged as a global space power. Chandrayaan-3's historic landing on the moon's south pole in 2023 placed India in the record books as the first country to achieve this feat. The Aditya L1 solar mission is now studying the sun to better understand its impact on Earth's climate. This year, India crossed another milestone. Astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla became the first Indian to travel to the International Space Station through the Axiom mission. With the Indian Space Policy 2023, the private partnership through New Space India Limited, Prime Minister Modi has opened the gates of space to innovation, entrepreneurship and a bold new era.
जल्द ही आप सब वैज्ञानिकों की मेहनत से भारत गगनयान की उड़ान भी भरेगा और आने वाले समय में भारत अपना स्पेस स्टेशन भी बनाएगा। अभी हम मून और मार्स तक पहुंचे हैं। अब हमें गहरे अंतरिक्ष में उन हिस्सों में भी झोंकना है जहां मानवता के भविष्य के लिए कई जरूरी रहस्य छिपे हैं।
Prime Minister Modi has consistently stressed that research and innovation must drive national strength. In defense, India has built indigenous missile systems, drone counters, and next-generation surveillance tools. Strategic autonomy, once a distant dream, is today a national reality. In healthcare, India stunned the world with its rapid development of the indigenous COVID vaccine under Mission COVID Suraksha. The COVID digital platform became a model for the world, ensuring over 220 crore vaccine doses with efficiency and transparency. For Prime Minister Modi, technology is the front line of change. Under his vision, Digital India has become the backbone of governance and financial inclusion. UPI, DigiLocker and Ayushman Bharat health account are not just platforms, they are everyday revolution transforming lives. The National Green Hydrogen Mission and the Ultra Mega Solar Power projects are rewriting India's energy future. By championing renewable energy, Prime Minister Modi has put India on course to become a global leader in the fight against climate change while achieving energy independence. PM Modi's vision has always placed research and development at the core. From the Deep Ocean Mission to LEGO India, India is pushing the boundaries of knowledge. The National Supercomputing Mission and advances in quantum technology are preparing the nation for the next frontier in science. Artificial intelligence initiatives like Airavat are driving breakthroughs in healthcare, agriculture, and governance. And in agriculture itself, digital livestock programs and the purple revolution of lavender cultivation in Jammu are proof that innovation is transforming even the grassroots of India's economy. From space to defense, from energy to agriculture, from quantum computing to AI, India's rise in science and technology has one common enabler: Prime Minister Narendra Modi. His call for Aatmanirbhar Bharat has turned into a movement empowering scientists, entrepreneurs, and innovators across the nation. As India looks to the future, one message is clear. With science as the foundation and technology as the tool, PM Modi is steering India into a new age of innovation and global leadership. Bureau Report, DD India.
All right, with that, we end this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.